In this video, I want to talk about the main thing that's been the main issue uh, that I've noticed um, after a good long while. You're still dealing with programming, like the programming throughout your life, whether it was the systematic brainwashing in religion, uh, like in my case, or the even if there was no religion, if your parents had their own made up rules for you to abide by, that you can't get those rules out of your head. You know what I mean? Like a family cult, uh, with their own rules. The parents make up their own rules to control the kids, uh, their whole life, basically. Just that kind of program. Anything, any programming that helps the person that's rewiring your brain or programming you uh, to better control you. I call that programming. Anything that's used to put in your mind to better control you, uh, I consider that programming. Um, and you can include all the way from television. You can include anything that you feel was used throughout your upbringing to control you. Which is a lot of things. In this world, obviously, a lot of things uh, were meant to control you. There's there's a group of people that are obsessed with controlling other humans. It seems like, for some reason, right out of the gates, they want to control your mind. Um, put ideas in your mind, and you know when you're making decisions, is it really you making that decision, or is it the programming? Do you really like that T-shirt, or is it the programming saying you should get that T-shirt? You get what I'm saying? Like, how do you distinguish? And like, sometimes I will be about to buy something, and I'm like, and I'll stop now, and I'll be like, do I really want this, or am I just buying this because society says it's a good idea to buy this? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, telling the difference between like what I was programmed to do, um, versus what I really want to do. Um, I'm basically programmed to want to go, I'm basically programmed to go to church every week. You know what I mean? But my true heart doesn't want to go to church ever. See what I'm saying? That's fighting the programming right there. Um, for one example, like, you were going to church so much, repetition. That's the key to programming, is repetition, and a lot of psychopaths know this, uh, the repetition thing, to program you. They do repetition on purpose. Um, in my case, the repetition with the religion. In my case, um, the repetition with how we did meals. Repetition. You know, um, because they control you with meals, like food, dinners. They control you that way. You don't really think that. You're like, oh, they're doing this nice gesture by offering a dinner to me. It seems like an honest gesture, just a dinner. It's a simple dinner, but it's not. With them, it's never that. It's a control thing, because they don't feel love. They feel no love on any level. So anything you think is a loving gesture is not true with them. Uh, It's a control gesture. They make a meal for you. It's not because they love you. It's a control gesture. Uh, you know what I'm saying? Like control the food, control the person. Because the kid has to eat. Basically. So, um, anyways, that kind of programming. I'm still fighting like programming of like what we did every Sunday. Like today is Sunday. Like I'm fighting the programming of what we did every Sunday because it was so repetitious. Oh, we did this and we went there and you know what I'm saying? Like, um, the programming remains. That's the programming remaining uh, after no contact. It's those programs that were on a cycle, on repeat. That's the programming. Like, oh, every year we went to this vacation spot, you know, that program is still in your mind, you know what I'm saying? Of, oh, every year about this time we went to this vacation spot. So that's all it is just the repetition, the really repetitious stuff that, you know, got ingrained in your mind. And I'd say that's my biggest one of my struggles, or one of my biggest struggles, is the deep programming. Because they really started to program me pretty young. They started brainwashing me. I would call it brainwashing, mind control at minimum, but I call it brainwashing in my case because there was fear tactics, there's bullying. Anytime there's fear tactics and bullying, scaring the kid, I call that brainwashing because there's a scare factor to it. So if you don't do as they say, or go to any place that they want you to go to, there's a fear tactic consequence. If you don't go here. If you don't do this, if you don't do that, there's a consequence. And they make sure you know that there's a consequence if you don't, like a fear, uh, kind of, whether it be physical hitting of you, like, for example, um, as a consequence, there's always that fear in the air. If you don't do certain things like they want you to do. It's just, I feel like I grew up in a fucked up, like, prison camp, like, and my parents were like the wardens, of this prison camp. That's when I think about it. That's how it felt. Like I was in this prison camp, and my cell was my room. My bedroom was my cell. My prison cell. Uh, but my parents were the wardens and the bullies and the yeah. It was weird. The whole thing was weird. Um, Not a normal scenario to be around or grow up in. Uh, for sure. Um, but anyways, back to the programming. The programming remains with you, uh, even after cutting off all family. The programming still remains with you, and it's a bitch to counter the programming every day and try to live a new life with countering the programming, that they programmed you for years and years and years and years and years and years and years of programming that you're trying to counter. It's hard. It's tough. um, so anyways, that's just one of the challenges, and I don't think you can shortcut it either. Like, people talk about spiritual bypassing and stuff, and I don't think that that's a good option, uh, for the scapegoat child to do a spiritual bypass. I think with the scapegoat child, it has to be a slow process uh, because there was many years of the same treatment, for decades, and so you want to heal correctly, you want to heal right, and so if it's slow, so be it. Let it be slow. Um, just keep going at a slow kind of marathon, slow forward pace. Um, and I think as long as you keep doing that slow forward pace, you'll be countering the programming as you go. Kind of just ignore what the world is doing, ignore what society's doing. They're gonna do what they want no matter what you do. Just ignore them if you can. Just ignore all these events that's going on. Just kind of focus on yourself. You know what I mean? You can only change yourself. You can't change the world. You can't change other people. You can only change yourself. So just keep that in mind. Um, and a hard reality was told to me like the other day. It's just like nobody can make me happy. Like not even a beautiful woman could make me happy. Not even, you know what I'm saying? Like things that I thought would make me happy, that can't make me happy. And so somehow I have to find happiness myself, by myself. Somehow I have to figure that out. Um, Not just do things that I enjoy, but find happiness and contentment within myself, by myself, without any need for validation from anywhere and from anyone. I have to get to that point. No, um, no attention seeking behaviors anymore. No trying to get validated anymore. Um, because, the scapegoat is pretty much ignored for most of their life. So they want to be heard, you know. They want to be heard somehow, somewhere. It doesn't matter if nobody listens. The scapegoat wants to be heard. And that's kind of why I make videos. Just the scapegoat wants their voice to be heard, even if it's just for themselves. You know, that all that shit did happen just for that validation, even though nobody but you and the universe knows what went down. In your case, it did happen, and that's the validation. And and you know and the attention that the scapegoat didn't get. The scapegoat didn't get the attention growing up, the nurturing that it needed. And so uh, even even at an older age, you gotta eventually not need that outside validation from anywhere and from anyone. Uh, and I do think it's possible to get that to that point um, eventually of you don't need validation anymore from anybody or anyone for anything ever, you know. So, and I think that's the final kind of position, or not final, but like just the state of mind you want to be in life is just you don't care what anybody thinks about you. Just someone gives you a mean look or a dirty look, so what? Someone looks at you like they hate you, so what? You know what I'm saying? So what? You know, no matter what people do, just doesn't matter. You know. Anyways, uh, but that's a level of strength that not easy to achieve, but it is possible um, to get to that point. Because you know, a lot of the world is always like, you know, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. You know, like anybody that's famous, they look at me. You know, because they need that attention for money and uh, maybe to validate a false self or something. I don't know, but um, I don't know. I do realize how hard it is because it's been a narcissistic world for a long time, you know. So it's hard to counter that programming, you know. So, anyways, that's all I want to say is the theme lately is the programming, overcoming, you know, undoing or living with the programming that uh, you were programmed with over decades of time, you know. Um, you may not remember all of it, but there was a lot of years of repetition, you know. So, anyways, the the less programmed you are, the less programming in your mind, um, the less likely you are to be controlled by someone else or something. So, in my opinion, so, anyways, that's all I want to say for this video, and I'll talk to you later.